We're going to start with presenting the safety assessment. I believe this was present here. We is the treasury what's the safety assessment responsibility. We're going to start. We had a total number of 510 participants. So, price increase from the normal high level. And it's among these people who responded to their 10% versus 43% for video, but it's to probably ask questions, right? But it was not any kind of gender, and it was an open survey. Next slide, please. And we then asked the respondents, what are the levels of what's your level of education? Most of them were master's students, they are master's, and they was a percentage of it's eight, followed by those are currently engaged. Next slide, please. We then ask the participants, have you ever conducted a society with meta-analysis? And you will see that the majority were those who have never conducted systematic. And a few, that is 6.30%, them said yes, they have conducted systematic meta-analysis, but only 6.3 of those who have conducted have been able to make publications, and 40% of all those who have communicated have conducted this systematic meta-analysis. They are not able to make publications. So, told us earlier that there is no need to conducting a study or systematic review to a number of publications. So we're going to ask ourselves why people conducted these studies and next slide, please. Next slide, please. So, very few people have had training related to systematic analysis. I don't know if it's because the field is new or people that are interested or what is the problem. But among our survey participants, only 72, only 28% have had training on systematic review. Next slide. Okay, so when we created this, how we developed it for ourselves, to follow early career researchers, especially those in lower and technical countries and Africa, to gain knowledge, experience, and work in everyday business. And when we pose this question, how many are you in support of this team? And you can see that majority, 97% of the participants are in support for this community. Next slide, please. So if the town decides to charge for sustainability purpose, how many people will be interested in what range of finance are you willing to touch? And you can see that so many people are willing to contribute or to pay between 5 and 10 USD, followed by a bulk of people saying they will be able to finance such trainings. Next slide, please. Looking at motivation for conducting systematic review and analysis, also explained that there were some questions that were general, and there were other questions that not all the 510 participants responded to. And this is one of the questions that only those who have conducted systematic reviews and data analysis responded. So we asked them this question: what was the purpose? What was the motivation for conducting systematic reviews and data analysis? And you can see that most of them were not all the experts that conducted the systematic reviews. They are only 5%, and the majority conducted the systematic review and data analysis because it was either a requirement or really also planning the systematic review. So this is the next slide, please. Systematic reviews, I think that now Secretary Rahman is that on this 76% of the participants have never conducted a systematic impairment analysis before, and 13.8% who have conducted systematic reviews and data analysis just the single paper, and only 9.6% of those who have conducted systematic review have done between 2 and 4 systematic reviews. There do not necessarily need to be systematic reviews in data analysis. We simply need a systematic review, and some could be a combination of systematic review. Next slide, please. So we're curious to find out how we can improve the publications in the area of systematic reviews and analysis. Research activities in the area of systematic review and analysis. So we wanted to know why people are not really engaging in this domain. So we asked, for example, why, if you have not conducted a systematic review and analysis, what is the cause? What is causing it? And the lack of training in this area of research was the leading factor overall, followed by lack of skills, systematic reviews and lack of access to collaborators. So I'm curious to know if those who express this gaps in the area of systematic review and meta analysis are willing to join us in this community for us to learn and do more things in this area of research. We can also see that they also complain on training opportunities to strengthen systematic research capacity of systematic groups. If you were to join the hub, what would be your main motivation? What is going to motivate you to join the hub? We ask participants what would motivate them to join the hub, and most of them want to join the hub, be able to gain skills for their capacity to be improved because of systematic review and meta analysis. They also want to collaborate, writing systematic reviews and meta analysis, as well as working with people within and out of their own region, probably for systematic reviews. Thank you. Next slide. One of the top three most difficult aspects of systematic development analysis. And this is where the tools and the software play important roles. And when folks will ask this question to participants, both of them complain that they have difficulties performing meta analysis. And that is one of the most difficult aspects of conducting systematic reviews in this analysis. And the next most difficult aspect of systematic review and analysis is spreading of was searching the database probably because of the lack of some they said searching the database could be one of the most difficult aspects, probably because it is time consuming. We do not bother finding out, and we may get to know more about that when we have our panel discussion, and then assessing the quality of data. Next slide, please. Thank you. The next is so we are going to continue the panel discussion. We are going to call on Mr. Fortune to join us and moderate this.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited. I want to be sure that the online participants can hear me very well. Just maybe anything. We're complaining that we do not hear. Okay, nobody. I will take that for a yes. Can hear me very well. So this is welcome to the panel discussion. Like you've seen the recent case assessments that we conducted, because we want targeted intervention. We want to do things that work. We don't just want to be doing things. We have to do things that work. We have to do things that meet the needs. So that's the essence of conducting this. Our panelists, there are about 9 or 7 of them that will be engaging the discussion, because we want to generate ideas. How can we move forward? How can we assist? What can we do? How can we contribute? So we have people who are experts in systematic reviews and meta-analysis, and they will be giving us suggestions on how we can solve the problems that we want to solve. So first, we'll somebody's still complaining about this form. Sorry about that. So the first person that will come to the podium is present in person. He is no other person but our dynamic and very intelligent. And what other adjective would you give him? Thank you very much, Professor Nancy. We have other professors here, and the first professor we'll be calling is from the University of Port Harcourt. He's joining us online, and it is please, Professor Philip Young. Please, Professor Philip. Professor Philip. Yeah, very sure he's online. Maybe
yeah.
Thank you very much, everyone. The next professor we have is Professor.
Thank you very much. Sorry for joining late. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Next person we have is Professor Joshua Oyeni from Obafemi University. Professor Joshua, you have to forgive me for displaying your name. Yeah, I'm very sure he's here with us. He's going to respond. Next, Professor still in the University, still in Obafemi University is Professor Akani Adeyemi. I believe you have gotten it one right. Professor Akani Adeyemi. He is online, he's going to respond. I'm very sure of that. Nobody will have to go like that. Next, we have is all the way from University, Nepal, is, okay, we can see Professor Kim there, is Dr. Puna.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry, I was trying to.
Welcome, Dr. Guna. Next question we have is from
Sorry, I'm muted. Hello, everyone, and I'm happy to be here and looking forward to having an interesting discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. Next question we have is Mr. Leonard, who is a lecturer in Federal University of Oye, Nigeria. Mr. Leonard is on and is going to respond. Last panel is I believe Dr. Ismail Yunus is online. Dr. ECM, joining us from the University of South Carolina, United States. Our personal round is on the round. I know him. And the last person, the last panelist is Mr. David Kingston. He is a worker and is one of the co-founders of Sopani Consults. Sopani is a writing firm, and they are very experienced of writing smarter than almost any kind of research. Yeah, all right, thank you very much and welcome. This is how the panel discussion will look like. I have a series of questions here. Series of questions here that tell the research assessment, and when I present the question, any panelists that answer will give us a response. And we can take as many panel answers as possible. Thank you. All right, so if we go to the slides, can we go back to the slides? Because we're referring to the slides. We just completed presentation. When we say, have you conducted a systematic review of meta-analysis? Keep going. Just come forward. Have you conducted? I think it's one before this one. No, go back. Go back. Back and forward. Great. So this is the first thing we're looking at. Who asked our participants, have you conducted a systematic review of meta-analysis before? Almost 80% said no. 14% said, oh yes, I've conducted a systematic review without meta-analysis. And 6.3% said, I have conducted a systematic review of meta-analysis. Yes, the question now is, given that majority of our participants in the survey were master students, were PhD students, and postdoctoral students, so this is the top three majority, mostly master. So I ask the question, is this a good statistic? I mean, putting in the context of statistics. And what does a good statistics look like? And the question is clear. Professors, if you want to respond, then it will give you opportunity to speak to this. 80% say no, we are not conducted. So is this a good statistics for this population of students, master students and PhD students? And what should a good statistics look like from your experience? Okay, please unmute Mr. Leonard. It's an open question. Any panelist that has the answer can just speak up, please. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Okay. I think I have to follow from you. Mr. Leonard, please let me know what you want, Mr. Leonard.
Trying to face. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay. If I get your question right, your question was talking about the volume of articles that you have to go through. Am I correct?
So the question is, have you conducted a systematic review and meta-analysis before? And we are having 80%.
Yeah.
80% of.
Okay. Yeah. I think I got your question. Now, looking at the figure that you presented, that over 79.5 said they haven't performed a systematic review, why 14 said they've conducted but not with meta-analysis, why 6.3 said they've conducted with meta-analysis. So basically what this showed us is actually there is a gap, and we know that the way to actually synthesize evidence presently is actually through meta-analysis and systematic review, basically trying to look at similar studies that have looked at a similar research question, having the employed the same research design, then trying to get the evidence that has been actually generated from those studies. Now, looking at this figure, what we can actually see here is that there is a gap, which I feel that the hub that is being set up is trying to actually bridge, in the sense that we are able to make sure that we know that even not only from what I know before, to just postgraduate majorly, when you are doing your PhD, they will require you to do a systematic review to know what has been done, so they will be able to identify gap. But I want us to know that it has actually gone beyond just postgraduate. Even in industry, for those that work in industry, especially industry that have to do with biotech and the rest, they still have to look at, okay, this particular drug that we've made, or this particular solution that we've made in terms of science, that those in sciences, how effective it is. And even interventions now, having to psychology, sociology, everybody's actually making use of systematic review to gather evidence. So it shows that there's actually a gap in our setting. I know the study was a multi-country study, so it's actually there is a gap in Africa, although the sample size is quite small. It's not really representative, but we can still deduce or get some information from there to able to make inference to the general population. I believe that this hub will be able to actually increase the knowledge base and the skill base of people who need to undertake a systematic review. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll take one more panelist on that. Now with Dr. Buna. Dr. Buna, she is a lecturer in University in Australia. So I believe that she can compare what we are having with what is obtainable in Australia and inform us if this is a good. Sorry, in Nepal, I am very sorry. She will compare what we have here and what we have in Nepal probably, to tell us if this is a good statistics for masters and PhD students.
Thank you. Regarding the percentage, high number of percentage, I mean, I would say it's not quite surprising to me if I talk about the context of low and middle income country like in Nepal. But I did mention in Australia, because I did my PhD, completed PhD from Australia recently. So the culture of doing systematic review or review study is very popular in the developed country or the Western world. Like in Australia, like the most of the people, they are trained and conducting those kind of studies. So what I feel is, like, if I have to think about the Nepal or the African context, because we are still struggling with doing the primary studies, and we are trying to learn more about the making the system for the primary original study. And one more thing, I have to reiterate that, like, I'm working as the course facilitator at the AuthoRed, and now we are developing the courses for the systematic review as well. Because to do the systematic review, anyone should have the skill of doing the primary study. So without any knowledge of doing other kind of study, like if anyone directly jump into the systematic review, like the process or the quality, we cannot ensure. But of course, this is like the not surprising, but still like number is high, so we want to decrease this number. So I feel like this Australian African systematic review hub is coming up timely, and you guys have identified the gap correctly, because there is a need of training and education. Because in our curriculum system also, like I don't know about Africa, but in context of Nepal, there is no training about the systematic review, like still the original studies training is going on. So yes, of course, the number is high, but if such kind of program is initiated and some training program would be developed, then definitely, I think after 1 or 2 years, like if you do the post survey, then it might decrease, the number would decrease. Thank you.
Dr. Messi, your contribute before we move.
Thank you. Let me speak upon the gap. This important thing. Secondly, the function of competence of researchers in primary research. I think, but the more important of that, it tells me that the number of people who are doing the master's and their PhD not apply for grants. That's why the knowledge. So if they did apply for grants, almost invariably would be required this. It's when you're self-funding for research. That's why. So I think it encourages us that there are grants out there which support our master and our PhD. Let's apply for them. And in doing so, we will acquire.
All right, thank you very much. Because of time, I will not recap what they have said, so it's believing that you pay close attention. Professors, based on what Professor Lacy is just saying, I will move to the second question. I want you to tell us. Okay, this slide says, have you had any form of smart meta-analysis screening? So I want you to tell us, you're from different universities. We have University of Lagos, Latin and Wolugo, we have Oyebiti, we have even in Nepal. So when do you start teaching your students how to conduct systematic reviews? When you train them in your normal university curriculum, is that master's, their PhD, or is maybe it's not existing at all? So this is from all the panelists. So we start from our host, University of Lagos. And I know this will depend on the context. For example, like medicine, if you are in social science and so on and so forth.
Okay, so in the University of Lagos, I only speak not in the students any training conducting systematic. What we do, give them course evidence. This as part of English, when they call it their training, where they're giving a talk on evidence. Not how to systematic. Part of it. So it's not an example, and hopefully they might generate an. When new lecturers come into the College of Medicine, particularly university, as part of what we do to new lecturer, we talk about a number of things, conducting good research, issues concerning their book. We also talk about reviews. And know some of the lecturers in the Lagos, College of Medicine. When I say College of Medicine, I'm talking of those who are domiciled, pharmacy, faculties around healthcare. Got a lecture on systematic reviews. Again, it's not an introduction. So not a training.
Okay, Dr. Buna, Can you tell us, since you are both in Nepal and you live in Australia, can you tell us what is obtainable in both settings? Please unmute. Sorry, Dr. Buna, can you unmute yourself? You are muted.
Thank you, because I don't know, like I could not unmute by myself, so host has to unmute myself. Yeah, from next time. Okay, regarding these questions, yeah, this is the, as I mentioned already as well, this is, we are lacking in our curricular activity. So in bachelor level of study in Nepal, like there is no systematic review training. Even in the master level, there are some courses in the curriculum, but not fully like the system of doing like other primary research. So this kind of training, the researchers are getting from the other sources, not from the within the university wings. Like as far as I'm concerned in the Nepalese context and other LMICs, because I'm working with other countries as well. So there is a problem. That's why like this figure, I think I'm sure like in Australia, like in African context also, maybe like the inside the curricular activities, such kind of training is not implemented. Therefore, the number is high, like more than around 74%. So the extra, like as I mentioned, now the time has come to collaborate with the university, like this kind of African systematic review how we established, but it would not enough for decreasing the number. So such kind of hub should collaborate with the university, and at least if not in bachelor level, like I feel like in the master level, such kind of training is should be provided. And I don't know there, but in our country, like in master level, in the during the thesis, systematic review is not allowed for the full thesis. They should do some kind of primary research as well. So those kind of policy level change should be there, and the extensive training, like now authority is also developing, like I'm also involved in that. We are developing the training resources. So maybe next year we will phase out like other scientific writing course. So then maybe the access to the resources or the access to the training would be high, and we can address this issue by the training. But collaboration with the university is much, I guess. Thank you.
So I want to make a question that I feel that we should try and cover up in 1 minute or 2 minutes, because we have other questions I want to. Thank you very much, Dr. Buna. Mr. Leonard was raising his hand, so he's going to tell us how it looks like in Federal University of Ekiti.
All right. Here, just like what Prof said at the University of Lagos, there is no formal training that is being designed for systematic review, and most curriculum is not required. But personally, for my students, I mean the student that I supervise, I've actually make it a point of duty to make sure that I train them, because the reason is that now, for you to be able to have a holistic literature review, which is usually part of every dissertation that is being designed, whether at the undergraduate or at the postgraduate level, the review, which the literature review is actually expected to be included. So what I usually do is to make sure that I've actually trained them. Yeah, it may not be full, they may not necessarily do a meta-analysis, but I've taught them how to actually do a systematic review of literature in their area or the topic they chose, and how to also design the questions they intend to answer. So at my own level, I'm training, but at the university level, there is presently no policy in place. Just like what Dr. Buna said, for example, in Nigeria, you can't tell most supervisors, okay, that for my PhD or my master's work, a systematic review that I want to do. But we know that in other place, it is expected that you can actually do a PhD using a systematic review, either with meta-analysis or without meta-analysis. So I think there is also need for a policy change to rethink and to redesign some policy as it relates to what can fit for a thesis or a project too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Professor Akani, or Professor Joshua, both of them are from Baltimore with the university. That's of them also Professor Akani.
No, sorry, I don't have the power to unmute myself. Okay. Thank you. Just to join others to also commend you for the initiative, thinking about having this up, and which also I think is the right thing to do and very, very timely. Well, in the university, has been said by others also, in the regular curriculum, we do not have systematic or meta-analysis as part of the curriculum requirement, either for masters or for a PhD. But what you see generally across Nigerian university, particularly for those who are in the College of Health Sciences, particularly for those also who are able to attract foreign grants, because it's also a prerequisite to doing that. So because of their association with partners of foreign training, so they also have like a cluster, where you see them working together and they're able to cascade such skills. So you see them doing that kind of thing. So that's the kind of thing you see. But now in the university, we establish now for the university what we call the earlier career development committee. So one of those things they try to do therefore is to look into those that fit within those early careers group. And one of those things that they've planned was they developed their curriculum now, but it's not like a teaching curriculum like you do at master's or PhD level. So what you do now is to now organize a kind of ad hoc training for people. So meta-analysis and semantic review is part of what they have. So in the regular curriculum of the university, we don't have it. But we have all kinds of trainings that people who are interested in this type of things can do. Thank you.
Can we get Professor Philip from the University of Port Harcourt? Okay, the third question is the prominent barrier. Prominent barrier, and we saw in the slide a major barrier, and the reason why these trainings are not conducted systematically is lack of training and lack of skills. Lack of training on systematic review and meta-analysis. The other was lack of skills, and the fourth was lack of experienced collaborators. So I will put the lack of skills and lack of training together because they are more or less like the same thing. So we can say that the top two barriers or two reasons why students, or should we say, why researchers in LMIs are not conducting systematic review and meta-analysis, it's because the lack of training and the lack of experienced collaborators to work with them. So now the question to our panelists is, what can we do to solve this problem? What can we do on our own? What can we do in partnership? What can we do in collaboration? In collaboration with anybody, it's the individual, it's the organizations, the institutions. So it's over now. Okay, Dr. Muna? Yes, Dr. Muna, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, for improving the skills, so first we already discussed like developing the courses and training material. And other way, what I feel is through networking and collaboration. That is also very helpful because I have started in my university as well. Those students, because though there is no any formal training in the curriculum, because it would take time, like changing the curriculum, there would be some policy changes or the process, going through the process, like the 6 month, 1 year, depend on the process. So if we form some collaboration with some of the expert and some new early career researcher, develop a team for the systematic review, then they will get training on the process. They will learn, like we can share, because that's what I do. I have like 2-3 systematic review group, and I will involve some of my students in the process. So then I'll share the material. Okay, this is the training material, you can go through and start searching, and we'll do the guidance because there would be the team. So through that process also we can increase the skills, like the knowledge we can increase through only the training, but for the skill we have to, they should know the practically also, like they should be involved in the process. So like now, like I can see there is more than 100 participants in the forum. So if some kind of group, like based on their interest, thematic group for the systematic review would be developed and the train, then also like we can increase their skill. And for the and collaboration we can do internationally as well. We should not think about like the, because for the systematic review, like we should not be physically present, and now there is a virtual mode. So forming the, we in AuthorEd also we have the Google groups and other forums. So through that also we can find the collaborator. And also like in AuthorEd website there is a mentoring session as well. So if anyone is interested, then they can go there and search the mentor and who has the skill or expertise of doing the mentorship, so they can express their interest and form a team and also learn those skills. And another way is that directly having such kind of hub and collaborating with other organization and launching those programs in a mass scale can help, I think, for the time being. Thank you.
Professor Lacy has contribution.
Let me make my contribution by saying that I really appreciate something I heard in this Samantha say,
Yes.
where he said that actually encouraging and trains students to practice. Dr. Wood has said that it should go down to one word: mentorship. So when you have experienced people who have done systematic, choosing to mentor younger ones, then you will feel capacity. We are going to. Second thing we can do, what you guys are doing, when you have this kind of workshops, what you need to do is find the funds to expand it after the talks, to bring people various diverse strengths. And I was so happy that we have sociologists who are asking, how can we? I met a lawyer who's interested in health research here at this program. We have Nigerians. You now see they have a huge role to play in searching out training. Those Nigerians have a way of finding out what is going on, especially the range. So I think one we those of us who have done it before need to make ourselves available. Secondly, we have to have opportunities like this, whether virtual or physical. People want to systematically are connected. People who have done this. So you need to create a database for people who have done systematic. And it doesn't have to be located in the same place. nothing stops me from talking to somebody virtually in Rwanda, Ethiopia, Kenya. As long as you don't get coaching on time, create a time when it's sick.
Thank you very much, Professor. I don't know if any other panelists has a contribution. And then Mr. Davey is with us. I know some. Okay. The link shared by yes. Any other contribution in the absence of any? I'm going to make it. Remember, we have first. We go to the next question. The question says, what is your motivation for conducting systematic? Motivation for conducting systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Just a second, you see in the slide. Yes. So we see that this is a multiple choice question, and the respondent will have to take the top 3 reasons or top 3 motivations. This is for those that have actually conducted systematic review and meta-analysis. We can see that up to 23% or almost 23% just wanted to explore a new area of research rights. 8.9 say it was a mandatory requirement by the institution. So this actually reflects what happens in an institution, that most of our institutions don't make it mandatory, or they were small or a few make it mandatory. And the last one is experts in the area trying to summarize primary research. So this is more like a policymaker or maybe a clinician, like our presenter or speaker was saying, which drug is good for curing malaria? Is that conducting this much just to inform clinical decisions? So my question is, what motivation can include? What can we add to this list so that people will be motivated to conduct smart? Because it's not about the institutions. The institutions might have the doctors in place, might have the facilities, but the students themselves, they have to be motivated to conduct smart. I like to make it concord or whatever. So our panelists will inform us. So Professor Akani is here. Wants to speak. Please, Dr. Akani, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think this also is very important. But just to say that it's not just about just individual motivation, what we talk about now is about knowledge economy. When you talk about knowledge economy, the place of research cannot be overemphasized. Okay. So as institutions to key in and to be able to play the key role in the knowledge economy, there is no two way than for scholars, researchers, graduate students to have the right skills. So for me, I think this is a prerequisite, right? You want to compete, you want to contribute, you want to show also that, we have passed the age of knowledge for library's sake. It's more about knowledge, that's also specific. So I think it is critical, therefore, for institutions, particularly in Nigeria, to understand, the need in moving, going through the right path in terms of producing the right skills, that can compete favorably, within the international, the global enterprise, of knowledge production.
Professor, please, any other contribution? Thank you very much. We have just 2 more questions. The 5th question is, you work on the idea of research. How can you pass that? Yes, you work on the idea of the research of provide students with systematic. So this is a reflection of the true needs of researchers. They don't have the skills They don't have training, so what? They want the corporate provide training on systematic review. Now, what would be your motivation for joining the corporate? When you were asked what your motivation for joining the corporate would be, most of them said there were two reasons. First was to get training on systematic reviews and dynamics. The second was to have access to experienced collaborators. But now there is an interesting question. Can we move forward, please? If the core decides to charge for training programs, how much would you be willing to pay? Because you can agree that programs like these, they are pump money into it, put it like that. There is money involved for you to put all these things together. And even if we were not to do a physical event, should it be a virtual event, it would still consume funds. So there is a question, or there is a worry about sustainability. How can we potentially sustain how can we sustain our training programs? How many funds to do that? So you can see from the graph, 40.2 says I will be unable to pay for training programs. And 41.7 says you pay 5 to 10 US dollars. And we're like, okay, we pay 20 to 50 US, they said God forbid. 20 US, they said no way. Essentially, if the information we are getting from this is that look, we don't have cheap training programs. We have to say, we're asking about this, how can we get funds? How can we financially sustain our training program? Because we might want to apply to their request of being what conducting training, but how will we sustain us? Thank you. Yes, Professor Lacey wants to speak.
No, if you ask anyone lower income countries whether we can afford to pay for it, you will get the minimum. However, no, it is true. When you do not put a value to the trade, that's true. Not very true. So there's going to be challenge. So when you're starting a hub, even you as people doing this will realize that the first few trainings will happen. You have to find funds to create a course. What will happen will sustain itself. And I'll tell you why. Because you have to tell your own story. When you track people you have trained and the quantum of grants they have obtained from the training they got and skills they acquired, and you put that out there and say, look, we trained 10 people, and 10 people have attracted grants worth so much. Don't master this $10,000, $1 million. It doesn't matter. The moment people see that there is value in what you are getting, what they are getting from a training like this, itself, what you have to do, you have to find funds to do that and create a story. Because a story will be created. I'll give you an example. In the College of Medicine, we had a grant called the Brains Grant that taught lecturers how to do research, how to conduct research. All this is what they're talking about in minutes. In 5 years of that grant, what has happened in terms of grants received in the college was a successful grants, price, staff, sales. So when we are now saying come for this training, responsible conduct of research, it's part of right. So if you try to charge more money, $10, $5, it doesn't matter. People will come and buy. But be careful of there's a saying in Nigeria that I move the wrong direction. Something to bring something. So I think we need to think about that. First couple of years of this laptop for low and middle countries. Thank you.
100%, I agree with Professor. If something is free, people will appreciate it. All right, do we have any conclusion from virtual panelists? Dr. Buddha, Professor Kani, Professor Joshua, Professor Yona, Mr. David, Professor Faith. I don't think Dr. Yunus is right now. Okay, Professor Kani, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Just to say that, I mean, in other places where they run this kind of program, people pay. Just early this year, I have to send about 4 of my research team, these are junior scholars, to attend the training in administrative of water strength. It was online, but I think I was trying to look for the record, but I think we pay almost about $240 per person. But I mean, I'm looking for the record to confirm, but I know it's not a very cheap cost to do. So if we do it in Nigeria, we still put a little price to it, or I don't know, in other African countries also, I think people are likely to subscribe. I mean, because we need to also think about how to sustain this type of program. So I'm sure that people will subscribe. Yeah.
Professor, we have 2 questions from the hands. Okay, that is Dr. Buddha.
Yes, this is very interesting because sustainability of the program is very important, and I feel like the now like we have got some grant from the authorate, but it would not be sustainable. So we have to locally generate funding. I think if some institute, if you collaborate with institute, research organization, or some other governmental research organization, or even university, if any person cannot pay by themselves, but if their organization would encourage such kind of training and pay on behalf of them, then that will be more beneficial. And apart from that, what I feel is, if we provide the training in free, sometimes participants do not take seriously. So there should be the minimal fee, so that they will be liable and committed to the program, because we have seen some of the free online courses, like if we get the external funding and provided free in cost, and the completion rate of the participant would be very low. So I feel that there should be the minimal fee, and if the participant cannot pay, the institution or some other research organization can collaborate and pay the fee. But of course, such kind of already one of the panelists has mentioned that, because if we pay in dollar the external body, it would be very expensive. But if we develop train the local resources and facilitator also, like through this kind of forum, we can train the facilitator, and they can provide in a minimal cost based on the local need, and it would be cheaper and sustainable as well, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. We are due to the end, but before we get a final 1-minute contribution from all our panelists, I would sort of give a context for what we'll expect in the final contribution. One big opportunity to our participants who have a question for our panelists, and maybe for ACSR and for the all, both online and virtual. Both physical and virtual participants. So we have one here. My name is Alex Kemena. I'm a lawyer and also a journalist. I consider myself very lucky to be here to participate in this program. I've not conducted systematic review mechanism. Undergraduates 2 decades ago, this was never required as part of my graduation. So that has been our team. But when I saw a program online and I opened the link to fill it, I was struck by the novelty of the whole idea. And I asked myself, how am I going to benefit from this, especially to enhance my capacity as a writer and also as a legal practitioner? From what I've had and advised today, I can say that I'm a little bit, I'm very lucky. My knowledge is not yet in depth because the rigor of applying the methodologies are not yet internalized. That is why I'm going to need with the organizers that this is the first attempt. And the first attempt is like the first step taking. You need to take the second step, that way the third step. After that, you are seen to be strong. And you so think that, oh, you are now strong, you can do it by yourself. Probably with or without assistance from any other person. Why this is so is because this is knowledge enhancing, something that is new to this part of the world. And if you agree with me, it will take us, several steps further, especially in exposing ourselves to the international community, where when you stand and talk, from the position of strength, you are taken seriously. You are regarded as knowing what you are talking about. If you don't know what you are talking about, well, they will just come on you and then you guys down, guys off like that. But with the benefit of having gathered this experience, especially the required training, we should be able to stand on our 2 feet and say, I know I can do it in competitive spirit with those who have been exposed. So I thank Professor Leslie for taking us through the rudimentary I will regard it, or the elementary I will regard it, but we still need more knowledge so that we can be able to stand our thinking. Thank you very much. Thank you, Director. Any other questions?
Maybe thank a lawyer. Like I said, one of the things that I find exciting about participation is actually diverse. Contains people, strengths and backgrounds. Let me just explain something. When it comes to systematic review, there are 2 types of. There are the people who generate systematic review. There are people who use systematic review. In other words, the person who uses systematic review will not have the goals of understand. But the systematic review, remember when I talk about systematic review, there's something called plain language summary. Oftentimes, the person who does that plain language summary is not the medical person. In the corporate group that I belong to, the person who does the plain language summary is a master of English. Not a doctor, nothing. But the person, and as you said, understands all the how to interpret data. So someone like you, sir, may not need to do it systematically. So I would not expect that you go for a training in doing systematic. However, interpreting, analyzing, and appraising what you're reading is very important. And the best person often that can translate scientific research, general journalists. Because it is, if you think of people who are doing journalism, things like America, think of people like Sanjay Gupta, yeah, the skill will be to take a complex thing and explain it to the daily public. That's where you come. So you may not be a user, you may not be a generator, but you will be a user systematic, so you can help explain these things to people, like even this short podcast. I think that's what I want to say. So not everybody will be doing, but training has to be provided to the area, especially journalists, so they can understand. So there is a need for training, for the different kind of training.
Thank you very much, Professor. This is amazing because many people who ask how can I fit in? And you said it's very true. And again, let's say our grandparents or my grandmother, she will not read a systematic. You cannot make any sense of your systematic. But then if we have the lawyer who is a journalist interpreting what you have written, that okay, she has to take this kind of things. He has now connected your research directly to the technical. I don't know if you have any other question. Online, on site. Yes, any comments? Okay. Okay. It should be the questions next. Any other question? Okay, we'll take the comments. Other comments?
The issue of payments, which is a problem. Because I'm Dr. Jimmy, one Dr. Joy of the Department of Pharmacology, Faculty of Pharmacy, University of New the issue of payments, when I filled the form and I was being asked in US dollars how much I will pay. I have not even $1 to pay. So it could also be fun. And I know it's a global thing. You're not going to start putting in Naira when there are people from Nairobi and so maybe having a higher way to make it simpler for us. Now, I want to encourage you because that it's not impossible. In May 2022, I will be the grant from our small university train early career scientists on social media and government. 7 people attended that training. It was free. It was funded. So it was free for them. I even gave them money for the kids. After that, there were a lot of success stories, testimonials. People that after this training now have YouTube channels sharing their information and moving on. I shared those on LinkedIn. Many people wanted to do the training. 15 people registered. 6 paid to do the training, and people are asking me again. But I want to do it, it continues. So it can only get better, like Prof said. So you start, you're funded, then you need to sustain it. And the first cases may not be so much, but eventually you'll get the gift. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm going to visit her now. You might look at funders like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg and all those. We have people here that Even the president. We are not only looking at organization, sponsor. You can see how to narrow the next year. Thank you.
It's computer science department. The electrical sciences. I listened to the calling the clients and I listened to the analysis of the question there. But I now through something able to the every professor, let's see that time. But since this also goes to other schools in Nigeria, since the agency has given the grace to review curricula, able to include practical areas, and it affected 16 months giving of the BMAS as outrun the whole BMAS completely. Every department is come up with a curriculum that will reflect 70-30, 70 national approval or national general board program. 30% the locality of that university or that country. If it is possible, we can introduce what we have from the Department of Learning research methods as a course in undergraduates, not only in postgraduates. That will prepare the students right from the younger age, and university day or undergraduate to postgraduate.
John asked ourselves in the College of Medicine, right from 200 level. 200 level for us is the entry point of school. So having done 100 level, let's see science, we have courses, college. And that 200 level, when they do what they call community, so they go to the community and start asking, addressing community problems. And it's a research. And research methodology started at that. So what we now have students in 500, 600 levels who have papers already. We have medical students who have publications. So they are already on that pathway research. And I think, as the manager said, it would be good. No, we teach our students really the ultimate goal of university or education, and we be lifelong learners. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. Scientific inquiry does not stop. When I say scientific inquiry, what I mean in sense, even social scientists understand that, even lawyers understand that. Inquiry does not end. So when you give people the skills to be lifelong learners, will be beneficial for addressing national problems.
All right, thank you very much. Just to add to that, Professor, you know that many times when we try to talk to policymakers to medicine, usually they would say that students are already overwhelmed with clinical work and would not have time for research. That is some argument, that is some of the argument that some of them, there is so much clinical work with medical students and there is no time for them. So they should wait till masters and PhD.
They're not expecting a medical student to be or an undergraduate student to be PhD and masters.
Yes. Yes.
How do you ask and interrogate people? Basic things. So I think wrong. Well, we expect an undergraduates to be addressing masters and PhD. That's what the intention. That's what masters and PhD do their work. Or if it's a simple question, answer it. Okay,
I think, thank you very much. Professor, it's been the last 20 minutes. Before we listen to the final of our
I want to start with that authority and some of the authority in So when I started this training in 2020, I'm an MSc student in one of our programs. For the law, I didn't expect much. But this young guy became interested. So we run one of our training called seminar. And that seminar, we do traditional reviews. But this time around, I challenge him and see, he's talking about market classes. Why don't you don't do this? Currently, we have the 8-month strike. So we have a lot of time to do data extraction and do all of those. Ladies and gentlemen, that paper from the seminar topic is now published in an Elsevier journal. And at the moment, it published in 2022, the first author of the paper by the name now has 3 citations. That is very important. In fact, I'm not going to see that. Yes. If I don't betray my other students in SR, he still did his project, which is also published. So from a 1-year MSc program, we have 2 publications. But we have publications. One of the things we teach in SR is that your work is coming to inform this topic, and I talk about said here. And it's not just the policy makers. I mean, for you clinicians, even much more, right there, your patients and all that. And when you come into a field, we want to believe that your interest is to make impact, not just to explain. And I think it's not a question about what interests people to do this. I think maybe that's one way to treat it. We want to for the people because our plan will be academics, we only think it's not. But I think when we let people see that this thing that you're generating is going to have a young class. From that single paper the young guy had, I was invited by the conversation on his own work, and so many other things have come after that singular work he did on microclasses in the program. So I mean, even he himself understood and appreciated the work he did, didn't want that project. So I think that way we will get into to know each other, and then they will be. So that's it.
You know, the new things that I'm looking at for is grants. You know, the first thing I'm looking for potential funders, people that will fund our project. I don't answer some of them on that one. The second thing now is I'm looking for, I'm saying in the personal notes, potential mentors, people that will mentor our people, and I'm saying so many of them. Thank you very much. And then the last take from our panelists, this is what I want you to give us in 1 minute. The students or the participant might want to ask themselves, why should I engage in systematic? I want you to give them why this is important. Not with power, not in terms of policy making and all those things. Like what she said, she was invited somewhere to write an article. There are opportunities that come when you present your material. For example, you can present in a scientific conference. When we attended the International Conference of Public Health in Africa last week, Kigali, we saw many systematic reviews. It is on top of the list. It is on top of the list. We have high acceptance rates in journals, and the chance of you being funded to present their work in any conferences or anything. So I'm still new, so I want to hear more from our panelists. And another thing I want them to see, and that was amazing, is opportunities like that. Opportunities to create, we have co-create, we have go ahead, you should tell us the opportunities that are there for us to benefit and probably materials and any other thing you want to us. Thank you very much. Let's start with Mr. Leonard. I believe he's trying to speak, but he has not realized this. Mr. Leonard, please unmute yourself. It's still muted. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yes, like you said, it's not just only about the academic side of things. Like, for example, this year, I got 2 international fully funded conferences, one to UK. I just came back last week. Then the other one was in June in Canada. And all the paper that I presented as oral presentation were systematic review and meta-analysis. So that's one. Then my most cited paper too during COVID was also, we published that paper 2019. And as of today, we have more than, it's going to like 25 citations from that publication too. So we have, there are a lot of benefit. Then this year too, I work with a student too that got an RO estimate grant of £5,000 to work on also for systematic review study. So there are a lot of opportunities that are actually, if you know how to harness what is there. And there are a lot of opportunities, just like having been invited to co-author to not just multi-country center studies. So once you're able to do one, you do it very well, and the quality is assured. You will be the one to let me use the layman language. You will be the one running from the benefits that you are going to harness from it. So there's a lot of, and especially for us in this part of the country, there, for example, there might be, especially in academic setting, you may have an interest in a particular area where the laboratory infrastructure to probably do that study is not available in country. Now, what you can do to be able to harness collaborators is to look for that gap, then look at systematic review in that aspect. And once you publish it and it's a very good paper and people begin to see it, then you can make case for probably for collaborators too, for even do the laboratory-based study or whatever kind of other study that you need to do that you may not have the either the infrastructure or even the technical know-how in country. So there are a lot of opportunities that are actually abound if you're able to harness these skills that this hub will be offering. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leonard. Please leave further contribution to the panelists. I actually wanted all the panelists to speak, but if no other, I don't know if any other panelists are going to speak. All right, thank you very much, participants. We have come to the end of this panel discussion. If they have very busy schedule, I want them to well, yes, busy meet the lovers and they want the best ones. We are collecting all these responses because we are going to prepare documents. This is what we'll be sending to our teacher funders and everyone, so that we know we have a direction that we are following. We know that we know what to do. That is why we conduct these speaks. That's what we have for the panel discussion. So once again, thank you to all our panelists for taking time to discuss this with us, and thank you participants for listening. Please pray us together for me. All right, so the next